We live in a world that tells us to want more, chase more, become more. But what if the secret to a fuller life was found in less? Less noise, less clutter, less pressure. This is the story of how simplicity gave me back myself. For a long time, I thought the world was just too loud. The traffic, the screens, the voices, the constant pull in every direction. But one day, I sat in complete silence and realized the loudest noise was within me. My own thoughts racing, my own expectations shouting. Simplicity started not by changing the world, but by quieting my mind. And in that quiet, I began to hear myself again. I used to think being busy meant I mattered. The more I did, the more I proved I had worth. But truth is, I was just filling every space so I wouldn't feel empty. Until one day, I stopped running. I stood still long enough to ask, why am I doing all this? And the silence answered, you don't need to do more to be enough. That's when simplicity found me. I held on to everything, every commitment, every memory, every just-in-case item. But letting go was the beginning of seeing clearly. Every object I released, every burden I dropped, made room for peace. It wasn't about having nothing. It was about finally having space to breathe. Clarity doesn't come from addition. It comes from release. There was a time I kept saying, I feel lost. But I wasn't lost. I was buried. Under tasks, under pressure, under expectations. I didn't need a map. I needed to lighten my load. Simplicity helped me remove what never belonged to me, so I could finally find what did. I always filled the air with something. Music, podcasts, notifications, noise. Silence felt uncomfortable, empty. But when I finally allowed the quiet to stay, I found it wasn't empty at all. It was full of truth, clarity, presence. Simplicity taught me that silence isn't a void. It's a mirror, and it shows us everything we've been too distracted to see. We're taught to seek more money, more things, more achievement. But I found the opposite to be true. The fewer clothes in my closet, the more peace in my mornings. The fewer things on my schedule, the more energy I had to live. The fewer distractions around me, the more clearly I could hear my soul. Less didn't mean lack. It meant liberation. I used to feel guilty resting, as if slowing down meant falling behind. But I was burning out. Exhausted from chasing expectations that weren't mine. Simplicity taught me rest isn't selfish, it's sacred. You can't pour from an empty cup. And sometimes the most productive thing is doing nothing at all. I used to take pride in being booked solid, every hour accounted for. But the more I filled my days, the more I felt disconnected from myself. Until I began subtracting, not adding, saying no more often, creating open spaces for stillness. And slowly, my heart began to breathe again. Time was something I always chased. I was always late, always busy, always behind. But when I started removing the unnecessary, a strange thing happened. Time came back to me. I had time to cook slowly, to watch the sky change, to call someone I loved. Simplicity didn't just give me space, it gave me back my life. I used to confuse movement with progress, but I was spinning, not growing.
When I finally slowed down and stood still, the truth became visible. What mattered was never far away. It was waiting for me in the stillness. And in that stillness, I remembered who I was. I held on to so much. Clothes I didn't wear, roles I didn't love, even people who didn't see me. Letting go felt like loss at first, but then I saw the truth. Those things were never holding me. I was holding them. And once I opened my hands, peace found its way back in.
The world teaches us to crave more. More money, more likes, more success. But the more I chased, the emptier I felt. One day, I paused and asked, what if enough is already here? That question changed everything.
I feared that if I slowed down, life would pass me by. But what I found was the opposite. Slowing down allowed me to see, really see, the morning light through the curtains, the taste of fresh tea, a real conversation. Life didn't shrink, it deepened.
I searched for peace like it was out there somewhere, in books, in travel, in things. But peace isn't found, it's created. By removing the noise, by choosing stillness, by saying no to what doesn't serve your soul. Simplicity gave me that choice, and I chose peace.
At first, I thought I was running away from the noise, the pressure, the complexity. But now I know I was coming home, home to myself. Simplicity wasn't an escape from life. It was the doorway back to living.
In the end, it wasn't what I gained, but what I let go of that brought me home.
A simpler life isn't empty. It's finally enough. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more life-changing reflections.